Hello friends, welcome to Salesforce CRMA video session 205. So we will continue from wherever we left off. I will just give you a quick recap of what we are going to do. So in the previous session, I have explained you about the Upsert node, like what it's going to do basically. And I gave you one scenario of the scenario which we are going to cover, and we will just continue from there. So just a quick revision. So first of all, I am just inserting in external org 13 records from CRMA org. Okay, maybe I can write over here org. Okay, so what does that mean is basically I will be transferring this 13 records. How I got this 13 records? By putting this condition. Okay, and this industry to agriculture, I will just transfer it to my external org. Okay, that's the first step. Okay, secondly, what I'm doing is basically I am just ensuring that I am updating the industry equal to apparel, which is already there in the external org, to industry equal to agriculture. So currently, if you see, like here, if I go for apparel, you are going to see one record, right? Okay, you are going to see one record. So this one record is going to get updated. I don't know why it's taking so much time. Yeah, this one record is going to get updated. And then, as I mentioned, like currently it's 159. So when you are transferring the 13 records, how much it will be? Okay. So it will be 172, right? It will be 172 records. Okay. Total records will become 172. And particularly when I write where industry equal to agriculture, okay, where industry equal to agriculture, currently it is showing as 0, but here is the key point. I'm inserting 13 records, but one record is also getting updated. That means it will show me 14 records. Okay. In total, it's going to show me 14 records. And currently for apparel, it is actually showing me one, right? So currently for apparel, it is showing me one record. In my external log, it will show me 0 once that upsert operation happens. Okay, that's the thing about this one. Now, basically, let's come to this topic. So till now, what I've done, I have, let me refresh this since I already saved it. Let me just refresh and see how it is. Yeah. So I already have my internal account. Okay. What I did, I just filtered on industry equal to agriculture and tab equal to partner, the same filter which I did over here. Okay, and then I'm just dropping this type. I don't want to transfer the value of type. That is not needed. That was just a filter I put, but I don't want to finally transfer the value. If you want to transfer the type, you can do that. Okay. In my case, that's not the intention. I'm just focusing on ensuring the insertion related to industry happens and the update related to industry happens. It's just a condition which I put to transfer minimum records, nothing else. Okay. Now, the thing is that I'm dropping this type column because that's something I'm not going to insert at the end of the day. Okay. But the name and industry are going to get inserted for sure. Fine. Because name is anyhow a compulsory field, right? And from external account, what I'm doing, I'm taking the ID name industry. I'm just filtering out for industry equal to apparel. And I'm just mapping a new industry. That's it. Okay. And now what we are going to do is basically, I'm just going to append this to, okay, because at the end of the day, it's going to be a combination. Fine. And ID is not to anything, industry equal to new industry, and that is fine. Okay. So I'm just going to write append. Okay. Now, finally, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go for this output connection. Okay. I'm going to go for this Salesforce developer org. Okay. The operation will be Upsert, of course. The object name is account. Okay. The external ID is nothing but my account ID, which is fine. And these are the things which are going to get over there: ID, name, and new industry. Okay. So I will click on apply and I will change this to upserting. Upserting. I think that's it. Upsetting to external account. Okay, that's enough. Now, one thing to catch over here is, of course, let me click on save and run because anyhow, this is going to take time. Okay, but one thing to catch over here is, if you see, when I was inserting, right, on inserting, you were just given the right to connection name. You had to give the object name, and finally, you had to give the insert operation, right? Similarly, for update also, you just had to give the object name, and basically, the update had to happen in this manner. Okay, that operation update. Now, with Upsert, what is happening is, if you have noticed it, okay, with Upsert, they are asking for an external ID. So when we were going for insert and update, at that time they were not asking us to map an external ID, but here they are telling us to map an external ID. Okay. Now what does that mean is basically, as I mentioned, upsert is nothing but insert and update both are going to happen. Okay. Now, firstly, they are going to reference this external ID, that is the account ID. Okay. And with the account ID, they are going to check in the external log, if that ID exists or not. Okay. So this particular ID, if it is matching with the external ID, if that's the case, then update is going to happen. They are not going to insert. So basically for this ID, they are not going to insert it. They are just going to update, because with this external ID being the account ID, they are referencing if this account ID is matching with the external log. So for example, this particular ID, for example, it is already there in my external log. So what I can do is here, I can just write where id equal to, let's say this one. Okay. Okay, I think I didn't copy it maybe. Anyways, I'm facing a difficulty, but this is actually the ID. If you see, okay, it's the same ID as that. So now this particular ID is already existing. Okay, if you see is AYAB, and that is something which is mentioned over here as well, AYAB. Okay. Now that ID being there, that's why that external ID is being checked upon. Okay, it's that is matching, that ID is there. That means in this case it has to be updated. They are just going to update it. Okay, so here industry is equal to apparel. They are just going to update to this one. They are just going to update to industry equal to agriculture, because that is anyhow mapped over here. Okay, new industry has to come to industry. So that's when the update will happen. For the rest of them, because that ID is not present, it's going to get inserted. Okay, that's how the logic is for the upsert. So in upsert, this plays a major role, the external ID. Once you get the external ID, the records which will get inserted, if that was ID or not, that will directly get inserted. But if ID is there, that external ID is matching with that ID, okay, then that is going to get updated. That's it. Okay, nothing else. Fine. Now let's monitor and see whether it, so this ran successfully. Now the next step is to cross check properly whatever we said, if it is coming correctly or not. The first step is basically, I will just ensure if the count increased. So the count increased to 172, right? That is completely correct right now. The count has increased to 170. It was 159. So the intention was that 13 records get inserted, and that's the first thing which happened. Okay. Second step is basically where industry equal to apparel. So it will show me 0 records right now. Fine, because I updated. I had only 1 record. So currently it's showing. Okay, I put a extra quotes over here. That is fine. So currently it's showing me 0 records. Okay, that check is also done. This is working completely fine. The next step is basically going for this agriculture. Fine. So for agriculture, it is showing me 14 records, which is also correct because 13 records got inserted and the 1 record was apparel, which got updated. Okay, so this is the record. This is that particular record which got updated. Okay, it was earlier apparel, it got updated, and the rest of the records got inserted. So this is how the upsert operation works. You must have seen over here that both the insert and update is happening simultaneously. Fine. Key catch to notice over here is that when you are upserting, definitely you have to ensure that the external ID is properly mapped. And one more thing is, always remember when you are inserting records, you can never give the ID. I think that is something we already covered when we were dealing with the inserting sections. Like the ID is the unique identifier in Salesforce, and you can never insert that ID part. But other than that, you can actually insert the other records. So while insertion, definitely cannot give the ID, and over here, I didn't give the ID. And when appending, since no ID is mapped, basically the first ID will be there, but the next ID is not even coming as blank. Blank is like you give one space, it's not even coming with it, like nothing is mapped basically on the ID. And finally, things are getting upserted. Okay. So yeah, that is all about this one. I hope you understood. And that's it. That's all about the upsert operation. Okay. So it was as simple as it can be, what I explained. So as I mentioned, just to give you a quick recap of what this upsert did. So at first, definitely my intention was to insert 13 records with this particular condition. Okay, that's part is it. And I finally wanted to update whatever was there in my external. So in the external, whatever this industry was there, I wanted to update it to industry equal to agriculture. Fine. So that is something which I already did over here. So I brought in that internal account, and before that, always run the sync for sure. Okay, just to ensure there's no data discrepancy or there's no data drift. Now that internal account I filtered for the agriculture industry, and I dropped that column type because I never wanted to insert it. I just brought in because I had to put that filter, but I never wanted to insert the values of type. If it's needed, you don't need this column then. Okay, that's it. And from external account, I'm just filtering out and I'm just creating a new column called new industry, and I'm just appending that. Okay, I'm also dropping that industry column, okay, because this is the new value for me. And finally, both of them are combined, and finally it's getting upserted. Okay, and that's it about this one. Fine. Related to this, we will walk through further more logic as well. Okay, so we will try to do upsert for other different standard objects so that you get a practice. But the basic overview, the basic use case will be the same as it is. Maybe I will try with different fields. The only reason I will try with other objects is also to help you understand like what are the fields which might be necessary. Fine. So that is something which is also very important. And what are the mistakes which sometimes CRMA developers makes while using this kind of node. So yeah, that is all about this video. And let's meet very soon in our next video where I will teach you about how to upsert records for the standard contact object. Yeah, thank you.